Good evening, all, and welcome to Gas App Live launch product. One of the Surestop specification managers. Thank everybody who's come on this evening to take it, especially when there's some good current football on and some games coming on later on. So I'll try and not take up too much of your time this evening. It's much appreciated that you've come on. I'd also like to thank Ant and Olivia for giving Surestop and myself the platform to speak about our products tonight. It's been very much appreciated, and I also appreciate the help that they've given me over the last few days. The format, what I'm going to do is I will give you a brief overview of the Surestop and our products. Then at the end, I've had some kind questions that have been sent in to me over the last few days. I will go through them. Also, if there's anything that's missed in terms of the product, you can actually visit our website, which is www.surestop.co.uk. By visiting there, you can view brochures, any literature, and any other product information that you require. Surestop itself, we were established back in 1999, and we were bought over in 2015 by Polypipe. We are currently part of Polypipe Residential. We are based in Birmingham, and at present, between who we deal with, we are specified by over 400 social landlords and house builders across the UK and Ireland. All the product is manufactured at our Birmingham office. We also have over 500 platinum installers who interact with us on a regular basis. You would probably be thinking to yourself, you're on tonight, what is the benefits of a Surestop over a brass stop tap? Well, there's loads of benefits. But what I've done is I've actually put some down that if you actually think of it, you have an instant protection that shuts off your water with the flick of a switch. It works with water pressure. It doesn't work with electrics. Sometimes people get fooled in when they see the tubing. They think it's electrics, but it's worked off water pressure. It's quick and simple to install. Can be installed in less than an hour. The plus points for us at Surestop is it won't seize up, unlike a brass stop tap, as it's made from materials that are RAS approved and don't suffer from limescale build-up. And if you think of the UK, it's ideal in areas where currently across the UK and Ireland we have 60% who suffer from hard water areas. Another plus point, if you look at the Surestop against a brass stop tap, it's ideal in terms of elderly people, because as we're all aware, we do see in the kitchen cabinets or wherever the Surestop or wherever the brass stop tap is installed, it's very, very difficult to get into. It's full of, detergents, washing up liquid. It's stuck in the backmost areas that you can think of. And anybody elderly or anybody of any age, as that matter of fact, to get down and try and turn off the water in an emergency, or even if they want to carry out any sort of jobs that's got to be done that include turning off the water, it's very, very difficult. And especially if it's an instance, it's a brass stop tap that has not been ideally shut off regularly and has a build-up of limescale, anybody would find it very, very difficult to shut off. So this is where, the Surestop, where you can actually control that by the flick of a switch, makes everything easier for the householder, and it also makes everything easier for any contractors that are carrying out work in that property. Because at the end of the day, time is money, and if you can't shut off any water and you have to come back because of those purposes, why would you not put a Surestop in to resolve that? A range, the Surestop range is probably in all leading plumbing merchants and independent stockists across the UK and Ireland. We have various different sort of products that we have, which I'm going to introduce just now. We have the SPL, which is a standalone direct replacement for a brass stop tap. Now this comes in 15mm and 22mm. It also comes in compression, and as you can see at the top, you have your shut off button. So when it's directly fitted, pressing the button on and off locates down and shuts off the diaphragm, which automatically closes off the water. Now, in a lot of sort of projects that the specification guys deal with, the beauty of this product as well, if it comes at a cost, it has an adaptation facility here, whereby further down the line, if a property further down the line, has an OAP that eventually comes in and can't get down to where this switch is, you can actually then reinsert a new switch by adding a 2 metre to a maximum 6 metre length tubing, which would enable the tenant then or the homeowner to turn off the water. Also, easy instructions that's on it. You also see the arrows here where the flow of water is going. We have had an instance where we have went out, and sometimes it could be down to how many jobs somebody's done in any one day. We have seen it known that it's been reversed the other way. It won't leak, but what it will do is it blows out the diaphragm, which means you can't switch it on and off. So as I said, it comes in 15 and 22mm, and it also comes in compression. The next product we have is our RPL, SSRPL model, as seen in the pack here. Now that comes in 15 and 22 again, but it also comes in compression. And as you can see in the packs here, this will come with a 2 metre standard tubing that's inserted into the main valve, which is then linked onto where the body of the switch is. Ideal in any household where, as I said earlier, if the stop tap was underneath the sink, the valve can be located just below or in front of the stop tap, and the 2 metre switch can then be put in a place just in the right hand or left hand side of the kitchen cabinet, where the tenant or the homeowner can actually utilise that like a light switch and turn the water on as and when required. Comes in the compression, as I said, and this is probably one of our best standard products. The compression, again, as I said earlier here, same setup, same packing, where you have the compression nuts on it, with the olives, etc., all in it. The good thing about the packs, when you receive the packs, which you will see inside it, everything is inside the pack. You have an installation instruction manual, which is in the pack. You also have a template where it will help you in fitting, and you also have clips when you want to reroute any of the tubing anywhere. So it's an ideal pack. It gives you, the installer, everything that they need to make this a perfect fit in any home. The next product we have within our range is our MDPE, which is this type of product. Primarily, which we've seen in the last quarter there, is just utilised on lots of new builds, direct onto alkathene pipe. And again, with the adaptation being on it, it can actually be utilised as a remote as well. This has become a very, very popular product within installers, and lots of house builders and social landlords in their new builds currently specify this across various sites in the UK and Ireland. Historically, what we've had as well, we've had an RPM, which would be this one. This product is mainly a service valve. Now, we still do it. It's still a seller, but it's not as popular as what we've got on our RPL, primarily because it can only be shut off from where you see the switch here. It can't be shut off from the valve as well. But again, you can actually see, the good thing about this is where you can actually see the sieve and the diaphragm on it, how it works when the water goes up and down. But again, it is a popular use within a lot of installers. We have a new product, which is our new i-water valve and remote controller. Now, with this product, this can be installed in your home, which will enable you to be able to turn your water off anywhere, anytime in the world, which is fabulous. How good would it be if you're abroad and that dreaded call comes in or that dreaded text comes in, and you've been told by somebody that you have a leak, or you get, you panic, what would you do? If you look at something in the first hour of any leak, there's 400 litres of water that is dispensed in a household. And if you can imagine that trickling on the hours, on the days, it's going to result in only one thing: absolute carnage. And if you look at any of the insurers across the UK, they'll tell you, the biggest expense is in flooding, which can cost 7,000 on average. So having something like this would be a lifesaver to you, that you can shut your water off. Now, what it does come with, it comes with the valve as standard, and it comes with the tubing as well. But what it does come with, it comes with a modem, and actually the only difference with the valve being inside is the house, you can actually operate this manually on and off as well. You download the app on the Surestop website. It gives you an alert when batteries are going down, and it's the ideal product. With everybody going smart now, this will be the way forward. We're also in the throes of a product range just now that can't say too much just now, but we're working on various different products that will be coming in the coming months. So all I can say is watch this space. Over the last few days, as I said earlier there, I've had some questions that were gratefully sent in to me. And what I'm going to do is read the questions out, and I'll answer them as best I can. Now, the first one came in from John Easton. And John asked, can water be shut off without having to have a switch and lead connector to the Surestop fitting? I am assuming the water can still be shut off by pressing the top switch by hand of the Surestop fitting. Yes, that's correct, John. Just as I showed you on the valve there, at any point where the Surestop tubing is going in, when you want to isolate your water at any time, as I said earlier, it's just like turning off a light switch. As soon as you turn the valve off, the water will automatically go off. So I hope that answers your question. Second question comes from Robert Kamer. What is the expected life of a Surestop? Well, me being part of Surestop, being here for nearly 6 years now, and the RAS approval of it, RAS when testing could at one point have 1 million shut-offs. So you see in your lifetime how many times are you shutting it on and off. Well, the materials that this is made of, and in my life being here and the time I've been here, I don't know any problems with anything coming back, other than sometimes what we get in an installation is if it's not cleaned up or cut off properly, we can get sometimes materials and debris that stick in it that can cause sticking via the switch, or a blocking of the sieve, which would prevent flow going through. So my time, or even Surestop's time, which is now coming up on 21 year, we still have Surestops that have been in that length of time and have no issues whatsoever. So again, Robert, I hope that answers your question okay. I also have another question here from Oliver Muff. Oliver's asked, and he's interested in promoting the customers, the product to his customers, and reliability is a must though. Well, Robert, the only thing I can say to you, again, with the products that are going out to various, as I said earlier, 400 social landlords across the UK who all specify now, we are probably up to 1.5 million sales and increasing. And through the specification work that's coming in, and everybody, because it's reliability, why wouldn't you want to have something that that in the event of an emergency, you can turn that water off? And for social landlords who have DLOs or outside contractors, that's the way they look at it. First and foremost, they look at it, their tenants. Can they turn the water off in an emergency? What would you rather have? Would you rather have a light switch system that we have that turns it off automatically at the switch? Or would you like to have an old brass stop tap that is seized and is just going to cause problems? Not only in the fact that because they can't turn it off at that moment in time, further down the line, that when they send out their own DLO or their own subcontractors, the work can't be carried out because the stop tap has become seized with limescale. So all points back to a cost that is necessary, all because of an old-fashioned brass stop tap. So promoting is something that, you know, for ourselves, we work very, very hard, Robert, from specification to the merchant and all the way back, you know, actors as well. And we work with them hand in hand. We provide toolbox talks, we have leaflets, we have brochures, anything that we think will help them in their everyday, day-to-day. If I go back to some of the social, you know, the installers that we have just now, they have various programs that we work hand in hand with. A couple of months ago, I worked with one of the installers, platinum installers we had, and it was in 3 old folks' homes. And what he had done was he had utilised all the brochures, all the images, and he provided a service to the OAPs of those care homes, who were absolutely delighted that they had a facility within their home, that they could operate their water that with the flick of a switch. So I hope that answers your question, Oliver. Again, as I said earlier, you know, we are there within the website. The details are there. We have the 4 regional managers. It would be more than, you know, helpful to come out and see you on site, or come out and help with you if that is something you would be interested in. I have a question from Colin Tasker, and what Colin is saying, he hasn't fitted one, but he's taken ones out that didn't work. Either nothing happened at all, or the flow was reduced to a trickle. He thinks it's a good idea, but he's reluctant to fit due to his experiences. Well, as I said earlier there, Colin, what we tend to find, and we try to stress with the installers, that you have to make sure that when you're installing, that all your cuts are clean. It's free from any burr, because if it's not, and you actually then implement and you commission the water, any fragments are going to be caught, and the sieve, which is there to catch any debris and do its job, it's only going to block up. And in this case, what happens then is your flow will be restricted. So, you know, if anybody, and there's not a lot that we see just now from the installers, you know, I would probably be saying that 99% of the time, everything's okay. We have a testing unit that is back in Birmingham. And then if there's anything that comes back from any merchant or any installer, all units are then put back to the testing base, and a full prognosis is carried out. Once that's carried out, there will be a full report given to the regional managers, who in turn will then go back to whoever they've received the product back for and report back what the fault was. So as I said, we don't see a lot, as long as it's installed properly and you go by the rules. Basically what we do as well, we have these laminated installation manuals that, you know, we can give out to installers that help them, you know, because every day somebody can pick, you know, a little tip up here or there in anything they do. But going back to what we do, if everything is followed by the guidelines, you'll very rarely have a problem. So again, Colin, I hope that answers your question. I have another one here from Joe Chandler Trick. Do they still leak on the push fit pressure hoses? Installed 2 and both leak on the connection, even though installed with perfectly clean edges. With multiple attempts to refit, they still leak and end up being replaced. Well, to answer that, Joe, a few years back we had a tubing issue where the tubing was oval. That has since been rectified, and we have had no issues over the last 3 or 4 years. Again, you know, working closely with the installers, anything that we have at all. We had a situation, if I go back to installers, on the compression just about 2 months ago, and it seemed to be that what was happening is, you know, the Stilsons that the installers were using, they were gripping the body and they were busting the pilot valve, which then led to the commissioning of the water and a leak coming in. So going back to what's happened to you, Joe, that was an issue that we did have with tubing, and that was rectified. And since then, touch wood, we've had no complaints whatsoever. Again, I hope that answers your question, Joe. So, you know, finally, I don't see there's no more questions coming in that I can see just now. I would just like to thank everyone for viewing tonight. It's been a pleasure to come on and speak about a product that is unique within the UK. For myself, I've had the pleasure of actually specifying it. The Republic of Ireland now, where they brought it in, certainly on lots of the new builds, and it's increasing on a daily basis. Where Surestop's gone and the products that we will be bringing to market is very exciting for everybody within Surestop. And again, it's a pleasure to go out and to be able to introduce a product to people within, the fraternity of the social landlords, house builders, and the installers going out using it. And you can see that it makes a difference to households all over the UK. And in general terms, and it'll take a while, but every household should have a Surestop. And I'm sure and confident through time that will come to fruition. So finally, again, I would like to say thanks very much. If anybody would like to have any more information, by all means, contact us on the Surestop website, www.surestop.co.uk, where we can provide you with every bit of information you require, help, leaflets, anything you may ask for. And again, I hope you all have a pleasant evening. Stay safe and take care. Good night.